every presidency, you're going to have a book like this that comes out that's a full history. That's going to happen with any White House. The difference with Donald Trump is that this is as we put it in the introduction, an active crime scene, right? It's not just history. This is the present day of American politics and maybe even its future. So there's an urgency to it. And what we found is that actually in many examples like this, it's not just the clown show or the tweets. That can often be the public theater of the presidency that we saw so much. But when you go back and you look into it, many of the things that we didn't take seriously enough were real attacks. Like, for example, pulling out of NATO. We were told by multiple officials Trump was much more serious about this than I think the reporting on it contemporaneously had us to understand.
He said it was obsolete. He said these people aren't paying. Why do we bother? Why is it worthwhile? But then, of course, I thought one of the interesting things about NATO was it was the one time I remember Trump saying publicly that he was wrong about something. He initially uttered that it was obsolete. Then he said, well, yeah, but I was a real estate guy. I talked to my generals. The generals know more about the stuff, and they said it's not, and now I believe my generals. What was behind that? I remember when he said that.
Yeah, well, because they were waging this war to basically keep him from blowing up the alliance. And I don't think he ever actually really changed his mind.
Yeah, he didn't change his mind.
I think he still
did say that.
He did say it. I think he still
that.
believed it was obsolete because he kept saying again and again to his staff, maybe we should just get out. Let's just get out. And they kept saying, no, sir, let's not do that because it would just destroy our relationships with Europe. And that's actually kind of important to the United States. Imagine, of course, if we had Putin invading Ukraine without the United States being part of NATO. What a difference that would make.
So this brings me to two different sorts of points. The first is Biden becomes president. NATO today is considerably stronger than it was not only under Trump, but before Trump.
Yeah.
So does that mean to you that actually those 4 years of Trump presidency don't actually have the same impact that you might have thought they would have at the time that you were in the middle?
Yeah, but now you need an invasion to make it go away? I mean, that's not exactly the right...
Well, but even the perspective on the United States,
Yeah.
once Biden came in, suddenly you saw those numbers in the Pew surveys from all the European populations that had sunk to these incredible post-war lows, and they just bounced right back up. Just felt like people were just ready to turn the page and move on. Do you feel that way?
I mean, look, Ian, you work internationally with a lot of world leaders. What do they think about the word of the United States right now? They don't think it's very good, do they? The United States as a leader in the world, would you make a deal with the United States that was controversial and think that it was going to stick forever or maybe just for the next 2 years? I think that the damage done to American credibility when it comes to making deals is very, very serious.
If he comes back or just generally?
Just generally, because the prospect that Republicans could take over Congress, and even if it's not Trump, the party has been remade in his image in a way that I think would lend anyone to question if you had another international climate accord. How much stock would you put in the United States' long-term willingness to commit to a course of action right now? As long as the U.S. remains this polarized and this divided, the greatest geopolitical crisis in the world is right in Washington. It's right in our midterm election. And I think that's going to be the case for the foreseeable future. The foreign policy crisis is not about NATO per se. It's about the United States and whether this superpower can get its act together. And there's no sign of that happening.